Most people don't know what's holding them back, but you do because you listen to me, Sam, your self-care guru and journal junkie. Welcome to Journal Entries, your safe place where you can tune in weekly to get tips, tricks, and journal prompts to uncover your feelings, gain clarity, and make your move. Hello, welcome back to Journal Entries. Before we get started, you guys have been on my fitness journey, or lack thereof, the past year, really. And so I just have to let you know that I have done 2 workouts this week so far, and I am so freaking sore. So if you hear me grunt or moan, it's just me adjusting in my chair, and it truly hurts. Like my quads I can't even tell you. And it's like the best feeling when you're sore. Like you sit down to go to the bathroom and it hurts. Griffin is even laughing at me because I'm like truly complaining nonstop. I'm even complaining. I started this episode complaining. That is my life this week. But I'm really excited for today's topic. It is all about how we should stop seeking balance and start seeking inner peace. Here's where this is stemming from. I have even used the word balance quite often in my life and even in episodes, in past podcast episodes. And every time I've said balance, I have this like shockwave go through my body because I don't even believe in balance. I just feel like balance is such a common word that is used. Everybody knows what we mean when we say balance, especially us women. But I don't think balance exists. To me, it's inner peace that is the real goal. As a single working mom, I do not have perfect balance, but I'm able to maintain inner peace in everything that I do. So leading up to this episode, if I've ever mentioned balance and how I have balance, what it really is a sense of inner peace just flowing throughout my day, no matter what it is that I'm doing. So this episode is for you if you feel like you're ever failing at either work or motherhood or dropping the ball at both because you're holding yourself to this standard of feeling balanced all of the time, or like you can never get the right balance in life. So today, I'm going to be sharing with you the problem with traditional balance and give you permission to stop seeking it, and then share with you how to switch to a focus of inner peace. And then one thing that you can do today, and we're actually going to be doing that thing on the podcast, so stay tuned, keep listening, and you're going to start embodying inner peace. Let's dig into the traditional term of balance and why it's flawed. Balance makes it seem like all areas of your life require just as much physical, mental, and emotional energy from you. And if that were the case, and if you were to place each one of these areas of your life, like motherhood, your career, health, finances, your personal development and personal growth on a scale, they would all be even. Because again, everything requires the same amount from you. But we all know that that's not the case. This is not a new concept, but I was at a conference once, and the keynote speaker was a leadership speaker and juggler. He was juggling 6 balls in the air while riding a unicycle. And his whole thing was talking about balance, and he was sharing the same ideology that I'm about to be sharing with you. And it's that sometimes work demands a lot more from us. It's a lot more mentally draining or emotionally or maybe physically draining. Or maybe you're choosing to put your family and personal development first this year and putting a lot more energy into that. And so, if you're picturing this juggler in your head now, which now I can't get out of my head, one of those balls was work. And so maybe for you, that work ball is at the top for you, and family is at the middle, and maybe health is at the bottom for you. But then that work ball is going to drop next. And maybe the family ball goes to the top. And it's this constant flow of balls. Oh, I can't even. That's what she said. And so it's never in perfect balance. And sometimes work will demand more from you. Sometimes family will demand more from you, or your health will need to be a priority, especially if you have a health scare, for example, or if you just really want to focus on getting strong and lean. A common misconception as well, I believe at least, is that balance means being there for everyone all of the time. I think that moms think that balance means always being there and present with your kids and family, and always somehow being there at work, like physically and mentally there at work, being super duper present in all things all the time. And I think it's really harmful to think of balance in this way, because it means that you also think that if you are balanced, if you've achieved balance, you are never going to be away from your kids or miss something that your kid has, which you will, or that you're never going to have a project at work that demands more work, or going in early or staying late some days, which you might. Some women also view balance as never facing a challenge, just always in this flow state, if you will. And then if they do face something that is a challenge, or just not allowing them to be with their kids and at work and not feeling balanced, they're immediately out of balance. They're thrown off, and they think that that is their sign that they need to make a drastic change, like quitting their job. And that's why, just a few reasons why balance is so unattainable. So let's talk about what inner peace actually feels like compared to balance. Here's my definition and experience with inner peace. In a nutshell, I feel like my life is what people refer to, and what I have referred to, as balanced. But when I really think about it, I'm not exempt from things taking priority. There are some days that work definitely takes priority. There are some nights, especially when I'm launching a group program or something, where in the evenings when Griffin goes to bed, I'm pulling out my laptop and I'm working. Or days where I know I'm on calls all day long, but I have other work to do, so I need to drop my son off at daycare early. One example of when I did prioritize work over my family life was when I went to a networking event. And it was in the evening. So this was when I typically would have picked up Griffin from daycare and we would have done our whole nighttime routine. But I had to ask my parents to watch my son. The event was from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. and it was about 50 minutes, or maybe even 55 minutes away. And so I did end up ending work early so that I could be the one to pick up Griffin from daycare. But then I dropped him off with my dad, who then played with him, did the whole dinner and bedtime routine. And I was able to go to this event and feel peace and excitement for myself being there, and also pride that I was able to prioritize my business that night. And I also felt peace coming home to my son once I made it back. There are also other days where my son takes priority, and maybe I need to keep him home longer, or I need to take a full day off for my son. He just had the flu last month and was off for like 10 days total. That was a lot. So I had to adjust my work schedule to be able to take care of him. And then there are also some days lately that I'm very proud of that I'm making myself a priority. And if I'm being honest, as I started off this episode unintentionally with, my health has been not a priority the past year. It's just been something that I do when I want, when I feel like it, and I've just been listening to my body, but it hasn't been a real push and a real focus to move my body. On a scale, I would not be balanced. All of these areas in my life would not be on an equal level. But what I do feel every single day, no matter which one is taking priority, is inner peace. I feel peace when I'm working, even when I'm working at night. I feel peace when I'm in mom mode, even if my son is having a meltdown. I feel peace when I'm prioritizing myself, whether I'm choosing to exercise or choosing to rest. I never experience mom guilt. I truly find it hard to resonate with moms who talk about it. I know what you mean, but I don't feel mom guilt because I'm so present and at peace with whatever I'm doing and wherever I am. I will say here that if I ever tried to blend two things together, particularly work and mom life. So, for example, if I was cooking dinner. So for me, that's mom time. So if I'm cooking dinner and doing all of that stuff, and then for some reason I get inspiration to write an email or check DMs or something, which is work mode, and then my son comes into the kitchen and asks me a question, then I trigger overstimulation. So I used to think that that meant I was failing as a mom and failing at work, that I'm not good at doing both at the same time. I'm not good at multitasking anymore like I was in my 20s. But I'm starting to see that I'm just really good at compartmentalizing, and I don't enjoy working while I'm cooking dinner. That's not my ideal evening. And when I do that, when I'm checking my emails, it's mostly just because I'm bored or out of fear, like I'm doing it because I'm thinking that something might be taken away from me, or I'm really anxious about a specific email that I'm supposed to be receiving. And so I shouldn't be checking my email at that time, anyways. And so 9.9 times out of 10, I close my laptop and I just readjust. I put back on my mom hat only, and I get back in the zone and I feel so much more peace. So while I used to think like, oh man, I still need to work on that area of like, what about those times when they do blend, which there are times when they do blend, they will blend, but I've learned that so many times they don't have to. And you can choose to compartmentalize your life. Again, not always, but a lot of the time. I also heard something from Mindy Kaling once that what makes you successful as a business owner or at work is likely not what makes you successful as a mom. For example, being efficient can make you a really good boss or employee, but efficiency is not valued by your kid. Your kid is not efficient at putting their shoes on. Your kid, nothing about motherhood is efficient. And so we have to kind of take off that work hat and put on a different hat and switch up our strengths as a mom. And so I, again, used to think that trying to play both roles at the same time was something I needed to work on blending and feeling more peace in that moment. But what I'm realizing is that separating those moments, I'm able to feel so much more peace and be so much more present in both of those times, whether I'm working or being a mom. Additionally, I also can't relate to other moms when they say time goes by so fast. You blink and your kids are so much older, which maybe I will be able to relate once my son is older. But my son is 4. And of course, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's so tall now. Like, I'll wake up and think, wow, you've grew an inch overnight. Or especially now that my niece is like not yet walking, but like right about to walk, I'm like, oh my gosh, I so remember when Griffin was right about to be walking, like at that stage. But at the same time, I was so emotionally and mentally there and present that I feel like it was yesterday and I feel like it was today at the same time. Like I don't miss that time because I experienced it, I embraced it all, and then I moved on to the next day. And when people say, what was your favorite age of your son? I always say it's right now. And maybe that's a common answer for moms, but it's like I'm embracing every single age, and it truly does get better. And so this inner peace is something that you can experience in every moment, in everything that you do. And you can use that to feel successful in everything that you do without feeling like you're taking away from your career or motherhood or your health or other areas of your life. So, here is the number one thing that you can do today to feel and embody inner peace over balance. And I know that you're going to feel a shift almost immediately. You can journal on this or even just visualize if you are driving or maybe doing dishes and you've got wet hands and you don't want to bring out a pen and paper. And you're going to feel inner peace and how it would impact your day and even your goals and your family. I want you to write about or think about how you want to feel. And I'm going to give you a lot of prompts of your day. So, how do you want to feel when you wake up? How much time would you love to spend with your kids or your partner before you leave for work? What do you see yourself accomplishing at work, and how does it feel? How do you carry yourself at work? What conversations are you having, and maybe what are you even wearing that day? What time do you get to see your kids or your partner after work? And what do you spend your time doing? What do you do for dinner? And what do your evenings look like? How do you feel by the time you get in bed at night? And how do you spend your last 30 minutes before closing your eyes? On a bigger scale, how would embracing this peace impact your family and your goals? How does this peace ripple into these other areas of your life? The more clear that you can get on what you want and how you want to feel and how it will impact your life, your day to day life, the more intentional you can be about starting to create that. I want to note here that you don't have to upend your life to make this a reality. And I'll give you an example of that in just a minute. But first, from that visualization that you did or the journal entry, I would love for you to pick one thing that you could do right now. So maybe you envisioned yourself wearing perfume every day as you got ready for work, and you can start wearing perfume every morning. Or you can ask your boss to work from home one day a week. Or maybe you can ask your boss to work in the office one day a week, depending on your situation. Maybe you can end your workday at 5 p.m., truly like log off at 5 p.m., or put your phone away at night. Make dinner with your kids once a week. Read a book versus watch TV in bed, or write down your goals before falling asleep at night. I've had 2 private clients within the past year that truly represent today's theme of inner peace over balance. First, there was Christy, and her journey was basically from exhaustion to empowerment. She went from leaving her office at 5 p.m. and wanting to make a healthy meal when she got home and fold laundry, but she ended up getting fast food on her way home and binging Netflix on her couch all night, thinking about all of the things that she should be doing, like all of those chores instead, and feeling bad about herself. 2, feeling empowered in her role at work, logging off at 5 p.m., coming home and actually making a healthy meal, not being on her phone, going for long walks with her dog and her husband, starting home renovation projects because she had so much more time on her hands. She also did Pinterest projects, Pinterest board projects that she had, and then also connecting with her husband at night. She also did like a long social media hiatus because she was so inspired about how good she felt and how peaceful she felt. And then Laura, her shift was from a midlife crisis to flexible, intentional living. She went from feeling like she was in this like midlife crisis, overwhelmed state every single day, especially when work was piled onto her desk and like she had no time to spend with her kid. but feeling like she should be grateful for it all. 2, creating a more flexible work schedule and a calmer work environment, trusting herself more, and inspired at her current job versus feeling like she had to burn it all down. And she's way more present with her son and creates opportunities to feel present every day. The common thread between these two was that peace doesn't require drastic life changes. You don't need to quit your job or to start a business or to completely start over. You can stay in your current job, stay within with your current life, and make small tweaks so that you can feel happier and more fulfilled and that inner peace. And whatever it is that you're craving, whatever it is that you're missing right now, you can start to feel that now. This obviously goes a lot deeper. It's what I work on with my private clients, because once you start implementing those steps that I just walked you through, even more emotions are going to come up. I remember working with Laura, and she was saying that what she realized through our coaching together was that she craved flexibility. And I told her, I asked her, do you think you could ask your boss to work from home one week? And her immediate answer was no. My job is one where I look through microscopes. I need to be in the office. And then I didn't answer right away. And she just kind of paused and she was like, actually, I guess I could. There are some days, and then there just became more flexibility within our conversation. And we worked through those limiting beliefs that came up. And she was able to now she started working from home just periodically. And then by the end of our coaching session together, she now consistently works from home every single Thursday. And so emotions and limiting beliefs and blocks are going to come up as you start to question yourself, your goals, and what you want to do to work through them. With that being said, the way that I prompted you through it today with the visualization or the journal prompt and then the action steps is the perfect place to start to get you to feel that inner peace is possible for you and even to see it yourself, like to see it playing out for you. If this hits home for you and you would like to work together, my coaching is normally 6 months, but right now for limited time, I'm doing 6 weeks intensives. And I feel like that will really resonate with those of you that are listening because you're busy. I get it. And 6 weeks is a sprint to really identify your season of life, what's missing, what it is that you want, and shift from trying to achieve this wishy-washy balance that doesn't exist and create obtainable, sustainable inner peace for you. And likely there's lots of decisions that are going to come into play as we create that for you. And so there's going to be a lot of self-trust coming in and listening to that inner voice. And if you've never heard her, which was like me, I never even knew she was inside of me. So we're going to learn to hear her and then trust her and create those clear, confident choices throughout. I'll share a link in my show notes with an application for that 6-week intensive. I'm calling it the 6-week Decision Clarity Intensive. So if you want to do a deep dive sprint in this work with me, fill that out. Also, I'll share a link for my free Calm Mind Blueprint, which is a 5-day series of journaling just 2 minutes a day to get from a place of mental overwhelm to inner peace. If you liked today, you will love this blueprint. And again, it's only 2 minutes a day. And it comes with access to my private podcast. It's voice guidance through each prompt. I loved creating that. So it's my little treat to you, which is included in the free download. I hope after listening to this, you are feeling a sense of relief, letting balance off the hook and off of your vision board, and instead opting for inner peace, and that you feel like now you have steps to achieve it. Make sure that you subscribe or follow this podcast so that you can hear more tips to actually enjoying your life every day without sacrificing what you care about most. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you next week. Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's journal entry. I love connecting with my listeners, so make sure you screenshot this episode and tag me on Instagram at samantha.s.says so I know you're listening. And don't forget to grab your free training and journal prompts at www.samanthapenkoff.com/podcast.